Hello, Chlorophyll's the name, Zoo Tycoon is the game. Let's get to it. I am back with my zoo speed build. I've done part one, and that's kind of all the savanna animals. I haven't put in the animals yet, but all the cages are in, and over there is all fancied up. So yeah. And then over here on the other side of the zoo entrance, I actually have more of an aquatic zoo, and so that is what I'm working on now. And I don't put in like all the aquatic animals, like I put in all the what are they called? All of the savanna animals, but I do put in quite a few, and I have a pretty good variety in there. So there's that. And yeah, so I am kind of iffy when it comes to the filters on these tanks. Like I want to put them in, but I do miss them on a few tanks. But if you have a good marine specialist, they should be able to just manually clean the tanks, right? So yeah, and I could make room for them if I wanted to. I might do that once I actually put the animals in. Anyway, I'm going through and just checking and seeing which animals I want to put in specifically. And so, yeah. And then I raised up the viewing area a bit because the tanks are kind of tall and I didn't want it to be like, just staring up at the tanks all the time. So I made it more so that they could look like down at the animals if they wanted to, or like straight at them. I mean, they might still have to look up if the animals are swimming really far up, but otherwise, that's good. I think this one on the corner here is sea turtles. No, it's the Atlantic swordfish. The sea turtles are up once we get onto the hill. The hill was interesting. I wasn't quite sure how to handle it because I knew I wanted a raised section of the zoo. Like I didn't want the whole zoo just to be flat, but I wasn't quite sure how to manage this exactly because like you can't put plants on a hill in this game, and so all the hills going upward look kind of awkward because you can't put anything on them. Like you can put rocks on them, but only like the small rocks. So I wasn't quite sure what to do. So I might come back to this area after this part and try and find something to do with those. Like I might need to flatten them in some parts and put plants on them, and then I don't know. I do just raise that part because I wanted there to be kind of a food court over in this corner. I don't know how used this food court would be. It's kind of far back and there's not a lot else by it, but I figure, there's not, really anything up here because I don't have the paths up in this area. And the paths have the restrooms and the snack machines and all that, so I wanted to make sure the guests were going to be all right. And so I added in that food court with the food and the bathrooms. And yeah, right here I am working on what's it called? A show tank, just a grandstand area sort of thing. And I raised it, and the show tank in this zoo is a dolphin show. I have orcas, but they don't have a show tank, so it's really just a dolphin show. The phone is ringing. I will be back in a moment. And I am back. Sorry about that. It wasn't anything important. Anyway, so yeah, here, as I was saying before, it's the dolphin show. And then the dolphin tank. The weird thing with doing the tanks like this, if I could talk, the weird thing about doing tanks like this is I'm not quite sure how deep the animals want them, because animals will be like, this tank is too shallow, this tank is too deep. So I wasn't quite sure how deep or shallow they wanted them. I could probably fix them, and I will likely fix them once I have the animals in, but I wanted them to all be about the same height, so I just have to make the base deeper if, it's a problem, which I'm hoping it won't be too big of a problem with any of them. But if it is, I do have the ability to fix it. I haven't even spent, well, I have actually spent $1 million, but I still have plenty of money to do other things. So that is fine. Right here, I think this tank might be a bit small. I might switch out the hammerheads that are going to be in there for something else, but we will see. And then the orca tank's a good size. Yeah, I might move the hammerheads into a different tank depending on, how much room they need because I don't use the aquatic animals so much. Like I've definitely done aquatic zoos, but I just it's been a very long time, so I don't remember how much of each like oh, I don't know what it is. How like what exactly they need. Like it's not like lions where I could probably make a pretty decent lion cage without lions in the cage or like without the zookeeper hints or anything. Like I could probably make a pretty good lion cage. It's just, you know, I do not know exactly what the animals need without having the animals in there, which I don't have the animals in there yet. So yeah, I added in that crustacean house right there. I figured, this would be the place to put it. And then there's an aquarium over on the other side, which you saw me add in. There's two restaurants. There's that one right there, and then there's another one over by the sea turtles. And yeah, I'm hoping that, when I do play this zoo, I'm going to be kind of sad if, nobody really walks around. If it's like my current zoo, I don't know if you've seen my Let's Play, but if it's like my current zoo where only one exhibit is popular, that'll make me sad. Because I really don't know how to distribute the guests. Because the guests, it's not like you can draw them out so well. Because I've tried. I put animal houses, I put restaurants, I put attractions, but they don't care. They're like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out over here. So, yeah, it's just, I need to play around with the game some more. Looking, that tank is pretty shallow. Those two tanks will probably need to be deeper because they're kind of shallow right now. But I can fix that when I put the animals in, which will probably be the last part when I put all the animals in. Either the last part, or it's probably going to be the second to last part because I'm planning on having a part where I actually play in the zoo and see if it works, because it's kind of sad to build a whole zoo like this and then never have it run. Because I've never done that before, and I quite like letting zoos run and seeing if they're successful. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let it run when everything's done. But that's, a lot of parts from now, because the savannah animals are one part, this is another part, and then I'm probably going to do another quarter to the zoo, and then the last quarter to the zoo, I'm going to add in the animals, and then I'm going to have the part where the guests are allowed to roam, and I might have a couple of those parts. So we still have a ways to go with this. It's a big project. I didn't want to rush it, and this part wasn't as long as the first part, which you can probably tell from the time, but it did still take me a while. The first part took me longer because I put all of the other paths in, but in terms of what I was actually doing, it was pretty much the same. I added in a quarter to the zoo, added in a quarter to the zoo, but I also added in the path, so that's why that part was longer. And then yeah, so here I am fancying up, if I could talk. My voice is still kind of raw. It's early in the morning. Sorry if I sound weird. But yeah, I'm adding in all the decorations to these green areas because I do actually have it graphed out, what goes in each square. And so, I was making sure to follow that. See, that's what I'm talking about with the green areas that you can't put anything on, because you can put rocks on them, but you can't put those really long rocks on them, because that's what I put up there, was just really long rocks. And so, yeah, you can't really do a lot with the slanted areas. So I need to figure out how to handle that. I'm thinking I might need to flatten part of it and just put some flowers on there, but we will see. I'll do that later, because I imagine in the last part I might fancy up parts of the zoo that I have new ideas for. Anyway, yeah, there's some aquatic gift stands around here. I'm hoping that they make money. I don't know. It's been interesting with my current zoo because some things will make money and some things won't. And it's I want everything to make money, and it makes me sad when I have to get rid of something that I've built a spot for, because then it's just well, now I need to put something else here, and maybe that something else won't make money because this is just not a profitable part of the zoo. It's really hard to drive guests to the back of the zoo. I need to figure out how to do that, because guests, they seem to just hang out around the front mostly, and they don't really get to the back of the zoo, which I don't think guests leave until they've seen everything in the zoo. Maybe that's wrong. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out, because I have a test zoo that I test a lot of stuff out on, but there's a lot of things to test, and it's never quite clear what causes what, so I must do that. Anyway, we are actually coming to the end here. I'm going to put in these bathrooms, check around. Oh yeah, I got to do the drink and snack machines. I changed the prices between episodes of them on the zoo, and I'll have to do that between episodes again this time. Essentially, everything's $2. So, it's not too expensive compared to what I could do, but it is pricey still. But it's a zoo. You're trapped until you look at all the animals, in theory. So, yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to the end. Thank you for watching. Leave a like. Remember to subscribe and go get some sunshine. I'll see you next time.